When we give the impression that God loves us more than other human beings, prefers us to other human beings, and that for some reasons God gives us special favors over our fellow human beings, this kind of mindset can have some negative implications. The first one is that we are trying to make God look bad in the eyes of humanity. We are suggesting that God is a partial God. God discriminates against other humanity. We are trying to say that God practices favoritism. So we are making God look bad. It is like a child who belongs to a family and is trying to convince every member of that family, including his or her siblings, that their father loves him or her more than the other children, or prefers him or her to the other children, or for some reasons favors him or her over the other children. That is a child trying to cause trouble for everybody, trying to cause trouble for the father, because then he is building resentment in the other siblings or in the other children for their father, and also creating what we call sibling rivalry, competition for the attention of their father. Yet there is no reasonable, rational, correct father, earthly father, that wants to give that impression that he prefers one of the children to the other children, that he loves one of the children more than the other children. What a good father will always do is to act like an equalizer, is to behave as if he wants all the children to feel equal and that he cares about the collective well-being of all the children because they all belong to him. It is a case that the children are different. So you may have some that are more well-behaved than the others. Some are likable. Some may have some special gifts or talents that make them quite admirable. But even that, a correct, proper, well-meaning father always wants to give the impression that he loves the children equally and favors none over the other. We can have exceptions to this, where we have a child who has some special needs. For instance, we can have what we call special needs children. So we can have a special needs child in a family. This can be children who may have some brain defects or some defects in their physical body. And so they are not able to grow normally. They are not able to achieve their developmental milestones. They are not able to meet the deadlines for their development in terms of when they walk. So you can have this child at 3 years. The child is not walking. The child is not talking well at 5 years. This child is not able to clothe himself or herself, able to feed himself or herself, even at 6 years. The entire family understands that this child needs special attention. This is a child that may not even benefit from the regular school system because he or she may have some learning disabilities. So everyone understands that this child may need more attention. You can see a mother feeding this child and you don't have the other siblings complaining, why feeding this child like a baby? He or she is 8 years old or 7 years old, 6 years old, and you are feeding this child. For special needs children, we want to give the impression that they are more loved than the other children, just so they can feel normal. But the question is, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with your humanity? What is special about you? What is the defect? What is that defect that you have? That you think that unless God gives you more love than other human beings, prefers you to other human beings, favors you over other human beings, you cannot be what human beings can be, do what human beings can do, and have what human beings can have. So you can just make a living, a decent living like all other human beings. So the deception that God discriminates or shows favoritism does not only make God look bad in the eyes of humanity, it makes us look bad ourselves, as if to say that we are not human enough to do what human beings can do, unless God comes to fill in the gap that is caused by a certain defect that we have. And that kind of mindset even goes against us, and so we cannot live a proper life like all other human beings live. I am aware that sometimes we want to acknowledge God as the God who rules in the affairs of man, so we want to credit God with our success, accomplishments. That can be done, but it can be done without giving the impression that God created you wrong. The last time I checked, all human beings were created in the image of God, given God's ability, given dominion over the earth, and have access to resources from which they can create survival with the ability that God has given to them and make a living for themselves and make a difference as well. So you can still appreciate God. By this time, you're appreciating God for how well He has created you. That He created you in His image, gives you the ability to be able to do what is humanly possible, have what is humanly possible, and become what is humanly possible. It is a form of appreciation. You credit Him for your success because He created you in a manner that can make you do the things that you can do to be successful. When I talk about the fact that we can promote human dignity and well-being by promoting God as an equalizer, what it means is that if you give the impression that God does not show favoritism, or God is not partial, and that God tries to make every human being feel equal, then all humanity can have this sense of an equal and a free access to a God identity. And so you can have a person believing that, look, once it is God that created me, and He created me in His image, it means that I have the highest image that a human being could ever have. And so I can have self-respect based on a God identity. And this gives that person a sense of dignity. So we are promoting human dignity by promoting God as an equalizer. In the same sense, this person will feel as if then I have God ability to be able to do what is humanly possible, like all other human beings. So I can create survival for myself. I can make a living and make a difference with the ability that God has given me and with the resources that God has given me. So just by promoting God identity and promoting God as an equalizer, we are promoting human dignity and well-being.